The best aren't born, they're built through hard effort, learning, and persistent dedication. To become the best, you must first think that it's possible. Your thinking is the cornerstone of excellence. You don't ascend to the top by blending in with the pack, you rise by challenging your own limits. Always remember, you are your only limit. Break through it, and the best version of yourself will begin to take shape. Are you wary of feeling stuck? Do you want to be the greatest at what you do, but don't know where to begin? Whether it's your work, personal life, or a pastime you passionately care about, the road to becoming your best self starts now. It's not easy, but it is totally feasible. And there are modest but effective steps you can take right now to start headed in the correct path. In this video, we're going to break down 5 game-changing techniques to become the best at anything. I'll coach you through attitude adjustments, habits, and daily behaviors that the most successful individuals swear by. You'll discover how to stay focused, overcome setbacks, and most importantly, how to actually believe in yourself. If you're ready to quit playing small and start stepping into your full potential, keep watching. This could be the turning point you've been waiting for. Let's hop in. Number 1. Get clear about what you want to be the best at. The first step towards success comes with one important decision. You must pick what you want to be the best at. The truth is, most people float through life without ever making a definite choice. They say, I want to be successful, or I want to be rich, but they never clarify what that actually means. When you're not specific, life doesn't provide. It's like standing at a buffet and declaring, but refusing to choose a plate. You walk away hungry. Ask yourself, what do you want to be the best at? Really think about it. Not what someone else expects from you. Not what society forces on you. What you want to be: the best entrepreneur, the best teacher, leader, communicator. Be specific. If you can't visualize it clearly in your head, you'll never create it in your reality. Here's the truth. Success starts in your head. Now let's speak about clarity. Clarity is power. You need to see your destination before you take your first step. Think about this. If I dropped you in a new city and told you to reach a certain area, but didn't provide you an address or a map, no, you'd wander about lost. Life operates the same way. Without direction, important time. Time is your most valuable resource. You don't get a second opportunity with it. So if you're unsure about where you're headed, you're already slipping behind. This is when emotion comes into play. You've got to feel your aim deep within. You should wake up thinking about it and go to sleep with it still on your thoughts. If your goal doesn't stir anything inside you, if it doesn't make you a little nervous, it's probably not big enough. So choose your aim and give it purpose. For example, don't just say, I want to be a great athlete. Say, I will wake up at 5 a.m., train until I'm drenched in sweat, eat clean, and push my limits every single day because I see myself lifting that championship trophy. Make it emotional. Make it yours. If you desire it strongly enough, you'll figure out a way to get there. You might say, Jim, I'm not even sure what I want yet. That's okay. But here's what you do: start investigating. Try things, test yourself. Don't just sit around waiting for inspiration to knock. Inspiration is born via action. Start doing something. When you enter into new experiences, you'll quickly find out what excites you and what doesn't. Pay close attention to what makes you feel alive. That's where your answer is hiding. And when you locate it, when you eventually discover that thing, you must lock it in. No more doubt. Write it down. Say it out loud. I want to be the best at this. Being the best doesn't mean you need to outdo everyone else. Being the best begins by challenging yourself. If you're a writer, make this month's work better than last month's. If you're a student, aim to score higher on your next test. If you're a leader, challenge yourself to inspire your team better tomorrow than you did today. The secret to success: daily improvement. You need to know where you're starting and where you're going. Once you're clear about what you want, everything else begins to match. Remember this: when you have clarity, decisions become easier. You stop wasting time on things that don't matter. Yes to distractions and start saying yes to the things that bring you forward. You stop drifting and you start living with direction. Once you're focused in on what you want, you've got to focus on it like your life depends on it, because in a way it does. Social media, television, gossip, negativity. All of it will drain your energy if you let it. You've got to protect your attention. Put your goal in front of you every single day. Write that on your wall. Set it as your phone backdrop. Put it anywhere you can see it. Make it a daily reminder. Keep it blazing in your thoughts. And be ready, because people will doubt you. When you say, I want to be the best at this, some will laugh. They'll say, why you? Not talented enough. Not strong enough. Ignore them. People who doubt you are only reflecting their concerns. They're too terrified to try. Therefore, they don't want you to try either. But your duty isn't to convince them. Your task is to prove to yourself that you can do it. The instant you decide to be the best, you've already won. You've already stepped away from the 99% who settle for average. So what does this all mean? It means success starts with one clear, focused decision. Be specific, be intentional. Write it down. Don't settle for vague dreams. Find what sets your soul on fire and chase it with everything you've got. Yes, there will be struggles. There will be days when you want to quit. But when you're absolutely clear about your mission, those obstacles become stepping stones. Every failure, every difficulty, every doubt, it's all pushing you closer to your goal. Number 2, believe. Believe you can be the best. If you don't believe it, you never will be. It really is that simple. Belief is the foundation of all success. Without it, you can work hard, grind day and night, but it won't matter. If you don't trust in your own potential, all that effort is pointless. Believing in oneself isn't just a great idea, it's a must, it's non-negotiable. You cannot afford to mistrust yourself. Think about it. Every great thing you see around you, every success story, every significant achievement, it all began with belief. Someone, at some point, had to believe they could make it happen. Whether it was beginning a business, becoming an athlete, or developing a career, they all start with that inner feeling, that deep certainty that they're capable. Now let me be frank with you, belief doesn't just magically arrive. It's something you have to grow. It's something you have to select every single day. But here's the truth, belief isn't just telling yourself, I can accomplish this. It's about feeling it. You've got to believe it in your heart, deep in your soul. You need to wake up each morning with purpose and confidence that says, I am capable of doing this. I will be the finest. Think about it. Every time you reach a challenge, you've got 2 choices. You can let fear seep in and whisper that you're not good enough, that you can't do it, or you can choose to believe in your skills no matter what the world throws at you. And I'm telling you right now, the best never let fear win. They recognize it, they comprehend it. And then, belief doesn't mean everything's going to be easy. Far from it. There'll be setbacks, days when you want to give up. But belief is the fuel that keeps you going. When you truly believe in yourself, when you know deep down you have what it takes, quitting stops being an option. It becomes a thought that fades. You keep moving because the objective is worth it. Picture this, you're on your way to greatness and you strike a roadblock. Everything feels like it's going apart. Walk away. But when you believe, really believe, in your potential to win, something changes. You don't quit. You press through. You break through the wall, not because it's easy, but because you believe it's possible. Let's be clear, belief is not arrogance. It's not thinking you're superior than everyone else. It's understanding you have the power to become the best version of yourself. It's about recognizing you can generate success no matter where you're from, who you know. Belief implies trusting in your own power to climb, to improve, and to become who you're meant to be. You'll face doubts. People will claim it's impossible. Some will laugh. But you've got to stay hooked onto your belief. Because here's the thing. Belief is what separates the ones who make it from the ones who don't. Those who believe keep grinding, keep climbing, keep evolving, even when everything seems stacked against them. It's not about luck. It's about unwavering conviction in yourself and your potential. Here's something else. Belief grows with action. The more you walk forward, the greater your belief develops. You might not start as the best, but every step, every battle, every win boosts your confidence. Don't wait for someone else to tell you you've got what it takes. You need to believe it and act on it. And here's another truth, you'll never get far if you don't believe you deserve it. Too many people hold themselves back because deep down they don't feel worthy. They don't think they're enough. But hear me, you are more than enough. You've already got what it takes inside you to be great. But you've got to believe it. You've got to wake up and convince yourself, I am worthy of excellence, the best. They're not always the most talented, the luckiest, or the most naturally gifted. The best are the ones who feel they can be, and that belief is everything. What drives them when others would give up? It's a strong belief that fuels their actions, changing barriers into possibilities. When you have unflinching faith in yourself, there are no limits to what you can do. So, let me ask you this: do you believe in yourself? Do you genuinely believe you have what it takes to be the best? If not, start now. Begin establishing that belief. Trust in your ability to learn, grow, and overcome any difficulty that stands in your way. Don't allow anyone tell you what you can or can't do. You are the one who decides your destiny, and it begins with belief. The next time you confront a roadblock, the next time you're up against a problem, remember this belief is your best weapon. It's the one thing that differentiates those who succeed from those who fail, and it will flip the script. Say to yourself, I believe in me. I believe I can do this. I will be the best. Keep repeating it until you feel it deep within, because once you fully believe in yourself, nothing can stand in your way. Commit to learning now. Let's talk about something vital. Commit to lifelong learning. You will never reach the top unless you dedicate yourself to learning every single day. You can't feel comfortable with what you already know, no matter how much success you've had. Here's the truth: the best never stop learning, ever. If you want to be the best in anything, you need to adopt this mindset. Realize that knowledge and growth are unlimited. The moment you think you know enough is the time you begin to lag behind. Learning isn't something you do just when you're struggling or trying to go ahead. It's something you do every day because you are always pushing for the next level. Look at the people you admire, those you wish to be like. They're always reading, absorbing new knowledge, and asking questions. They recognize that success is not a destination but a journey, one that involves ongoing growth and adaptability. And here's something many people miss: education doesn't finish after school. In the real world, learning never stops. You have to be open to new ideas, tactics, and approaches. No matter how much you think you know, there is always more to learn. In a world that is always evolving, you cannot afford to close your head to fresh knowledge. Think of it this way: to stay on top, you must continually adapt. What worked yesterday may not work today, and what was important a year ago could already be obsolete. If you're not actively learning, you're falling behind. That's why lifelong learning is non-negotiable for anyone who wants to be the best. You won't get there by doing the same thing again and over, hoping for different outcomes. That's the definition of stagnation. The best comprehend this. They recognize that being at the top involves always improving, and improvement comes from learning. Whether it's mastering a new skill, reading a book, listening to a podcast, or seeking mentorship, the best are always in a state of progress. They understand they don't have all the answers and stay hungry for more. But here's the catch: learning isn't always easy. It doesn't always feel fun. Sometimes it's challenging and frustrating. There will be periods when it feels like you're not making any progress, when the tremendous amount of knowledge appears overwhelming. But that's all part of the process. If it were easy, everyone would be at the top. The struggle, the challenge, the discomfort, they're all part of the journey. To become the best, you need to push through challenging circumstances. You must commit to learning, even when it's tough. Why? Because it's in those times of discomfort that progress happens. You get better when you challenge yourself, when you stretch beyond your bounds. The best aren't scared to be uncomfortable. In fact, they welcome it. They recognize that every challenging lesson puts them one step closer to where they want to be. Here's something else: learning isn't simply about gaining knowledge, it's about applying that knowledge. The greatest don't study books or attend seminars just for the sake of it. They take what they've learned and utilize it to make actual improvements in their lives. They aren't only collecting statistics, they're using those facts to improve their performance, refine their skills, and make better judgments. Lifelong learning is also about being open-minded. The greatest aren't rigid or unyielding. They recognize that there's always more than one way to tackle a problem, and they're open to explore all of them. If you want to be the best, you have to be willing to see things from many perspectives, learn from others, and challenge your own convictions. Think about the moments you've learned the most in life. Were those times easy? Probably not, but they were meaningful, right? Those were the moments when you grew. Those are the experiences that push you forward. That's what lifelong learning is about: pushing yourself, growing and evolving. And here's another important point: learning is not a solitary journey. The best understand the value of learning from others. They seek mentors, coaches, and peers who can help them see things in ways they might not have considered. Don't be afraid to reach out to those who know more than you. Don't hesitate to ask questions and seek guidance. There's no shame in learning from someone else. In fact, it's one of the smartest things you can do. So, how do you stay committed to lifelong learning? First, make a habit of it. Set aside time every day, even if it's just 15 minutes, to learn something new. Watch videos, listen to experts in your field, but don't stop there. Take action on what you learn. Apply it, test it, and make it part of your routine. The more you do this, the more you'll grow, and the closer you'll get to being the best. And remember, no matter how much you learn, you'll never know it all. That's the beauty of it. The best are always on a journey, always striving for more, always looking for ways to get better. That's what keeps them at the top, and that's what will keep you there too. If you want to be the best, commit to lifelong learning. Never settle. Keep learning, keep growing, and keep striving for more. The moment you stop learning is the moment you stop improving. And that, my friend, is the moment you cease being the best. So, keep going, keep learning, and watch how far it takes you. Stay disciplined. Success doesn't come easy. It's not going to be handed to you. It's going to need something great from you: discipline. Discipline is the key that unlocks the door to success. But here's the thing that most people don't understand. Discipline isn't simply about doing the right thing when everything's going nicely. It's about sticking to your path when it becomes hard, when it feels like you've struck a wall, when you're fatigued, and when you want to quit. That's when your actual discipline will shine best, when everything isn't going your way. It's easier to be disciplined when things are smooth, when you're feeling good, motivated, and making progress. It's easy to keep going when it all feels aligned. But genuine discipline shows itself when things are rough. When life tests you, when you're fatigued, and nothing appears to be working. That's when most people quit up. They let their emotions take control, allowing irritation to take over. But you'll keep pushing no matter what. Why? Because you understand that discipline is what distinguishes the best from the others. It's easy to feel inspired when everything's working in your favor, but true success is developed on those terrible days, the days that feel unattainable. When you're weary, when your mind encourages you to rest, when the finish line looks distant, that's when your actual discipline kicks in. You have to keep going even when you don't want to. You need to fight through the tough days, the days when nothing seems to work. That's where growth happens. That's where true development is done. Here's a basic truth: if you want to be the best, you need to outwork everyone else, especially when it's difficult. The best don't let hurdles stop them. They don't allow challenges derail their aspirations. They rise above them, pushing forward when others would quit. Do you suppose they don't get fatigued or experience setbacks? Of course, they do. But they don't stop, and neither should you. I got it. Sometimes, quitting up feels like the easy option. There are days when the grind feels never-ending, when you wake up fatigued, energy low, and feel stuck. But here's the truth: every time you push through that discomfort, every time you take the hard way, you're creating strength, resilience, and momentum. Each concentrated action puts you closer to your goal. Every step matters, even the difficult ones. Every day you stay disciplined, you move progress, even if it doesn't feel that way. Discipline isn't about perfection, it's about consistency. It's about doing the work, even when you don't feel like it, even when it's hard. The best don't have miraculous gifts that make their road simpler. They just make discipline non-negotiable. They don't take breaks just because things are tough. They keep going because they know that discipline now sets the way for success tomorrow. Let's talk about focus. Discipline and focus go hand in hand. When things get rough, it's easy to lose sight of why you're doing what you're doing. Distractions start to seep in. You start questioning if it's worth it, if life would be easier if you let go of your objectives. But the best don't let distractions take them off track. They stay focused. They remind themselves why they started, why they keep going, and that's what keeps them on course. Discipline doesn't mean doing everything perfectly. It means showing up every day, keeping consistent, and choosing the hard path because you know it's heading you somewhere higher. It's about showing up, even when it's challenging, since success doesn't come by accident. Success happens when you refuse to stop, when you refuse to take shortcuts, when you make the decision to keep going forward, no matter how hard it gets. Here's the deal: your capacity to stay disciplined, especially when it feels impossible, will be challenged again and again. The path won't always be smooth. There will be moments when you want to give up, but it's in those moments when your true discipline will shine the brightest. It could feel like everything is stacked against you, yet it's during these moments that you're truly defined. These are the moments that differentiate individuals who accomplish greatness from those who settle for less. If you can remain disciplined when situations get tough, you will climb above the rest. And remember, discipline isn't just about physical effort, it's about mental discipline too. The best train their minds just as much as they exercise their bodies or their skills. They don't allow negative ideas to derail them, nor do they let doubts dominate their activities. They recognize that the mind can either be their greatest ally or their deadliest enemy, and they choose to keep it focused, strong, and positive. Let me be clear. Keeping discipline doesn't mean working yourself into the ground. It means understanding when to push and when to rest, always with the long-term aim in mind. It's about balance, attention, and making the correct choices even when those decisions are challenging. In the end, your discipline will lead you farther than talent ever would. Talent might give you a head start, but it's discipline that will keep you going when things get tough. It's discipline that will keep you on course even when the finish line seems far away. So ask yourself, are you willing to stay disciplined even when it's hard? Because if you are, you're already ahead of the game. Keep pushing, keep constant, and don't allow anything stop you. That's how you climb above and become your finest. Learn to handle failure and criticism. Failure and criticism. Two things that make many want to leave. But here's the truth you need to hear: they are not your enemy. In truth, failure and criticism are your greatest partners on the journey to becoming the best. If you can learn to handle them, not only will you get stronger, but you'll also move closer to your goals. It's time to rethink how you approach failure and criticism, because they're here to stay, and you need to learn to accept them. Failure is often perceived as bad, something that shows you're not good enough. But in reality, failure is an integral element of success. If you've never failed, it indicates you haven't pushed yourself hard enough, you haven't taken enough risks, or you haven't moved out of your comfort zone. Failure isn't a signal to stop, it's a signal that you're trying, and that's the first step towards success. Every failure holds a useful lesson if you're open to learning from it. If you consider failure as feedback rather than defeat, you'll learn that each setback is merely a step forward in disguise. Many fear failure, its embarrassment, pain, and disappointment. But the great don't. They consider failure as a lesson, an integral part of the journey. They recognize that without failure, there's no growth. Without failure, there's no development. Every time they fall, they rise again, stronger and wiser. They don't let failure define them. They define how they respond to it. It's not the failure itself that matters. It's what you do with it that counts. Handling criticism is equally as crucial. Criticism may sting. It can make you feel inadequate. But if you let it to, criticism can be the very thing that helps you improve. Not all criticism is equal, and not all of it is worth taking to heart. Some criticism comes from a place of jealousy or bitterness, and that's something you should reject. But constructive criticism, feedback from someone who sincerely wants to help you improve, should be appreciated. The top people in any industry don't shy away from criticism. They actively seek it out, asking for input because they understand that it's one of the finest ways to improve. They recognize that one of the fastest paths to growth is embracing both failure and criticism. It's easy to think you're doing everything perfectly when no one is challenging you, but the greatest recognize there's always space for growth. They take criticism, using it to fuel their progress, and then move forward. They don't become defensive or take things personally. Instead, they perceive it as a tool that will make them better. To handle criticism and disappointment, you need a shift in perspective. Understand that both are natural components of growth. If you never encounter failure, it implies you're not pushing yourself hard enough. If you never encounter criticism, that means you're not putting yourself out there. The best don't play it safe. They go all in, knowing that failure and criticism are inevitable. Rather than running from them, they run toward them, because they know that's where genuine growth happens. Let's talk about resiliency. Handling failure and criticism needs resilience, the ability to bounce back from losses, stay strong amid adversity, and keep going forward when everything inside you tells you to quit. Resilience isn't something you're born with, it's something you build over time. The more you fail, the better you get at handling it. The more criticism you face, the easier it becomes to accept it in stride. And the more failures you endure, the stronger you get. Remember, every failure is a lesson, every criticism is a tool, but only if you allow them to be. If you allow failure hold you back, or if you let criticism ruin your confidence, you'll never attain your full potential. But if you utilize them as stepping stones, if you see them as opportunities to learn and develop, you'll not only become the best, you'll become unstoppable. Handling failure and criticism needs maturity. It implies being able to look beyond the immediate emotions that come with failure or harsh comments. When you fail, you could feel irritation or rage, but the finest don't allow these emotions govern them. They employ them. They pour those sensations into their work, their next endeavor, and their next challenge. The best don't give up when faced with failure or criticism. Instead, they stand to meet it head on. They learn and get better. Let's be honest, failure and criticism hurt, but guess what? So does success. Success forces you to venture outside your comfort zone. It means taking risks and going after what you want, without worrying about how you might look or how many times you might fail along the road. What differentiates the best from everyone else is that they don't allow the hurt stop them. They keep going. No matter how many times they fall, they keep learning. No matter how many people condemn them, they keep improving, even when the odds are against them. If you want to be the best, you must learn to manage failure and criticism. These are not something to fear. They are the same forces that will shape you into the person you need to become. You must be willing to fail, learn from that experience, and keep going. You must be willing to listen to criticism, use it to better, and keep going forward. This is the actual road to greatness. This is the road the best walk. And now it's your turn. If you're not willing to accept rejection and criticism, maybe you're not ready for the success you believe you want. But if you are determined to learn from every failure, if you are ready to take and develop from every piece of criticism, there's no limit to how far you can go. Keep pressing forward, keep learning, keep improving. The finest don't run away from failure or criticism, they embrace them. And that's why they succeed.